Well, hello everyone. That was kind of a suspect intro theme, man. It was like cut sound, seemed like it was cutting out and everything. So, what's going on? You can see by Brad's background, he's in the frozen white north of Canada.
You betcha. As if this isn't actually what it looks like. It's there's no snow out there right now.
Really?
It's pretty cold. It's -7°C, but there's no snow right now. This is I think this is last winter. That's my backyard. Isn't it pretty?
And Charlie has no snow right now in Maryland.
Yeah, imagine that.
And I'm down in South Carolina where it's 70 degrees most every day.
You get a buildup of snow at all there, Charlie?
It'll snow. We might get several. Last year we didn't get anything. I've had it, 6 inches. I've had it years ago. We had like 3 feet. So
great titles.
Yeah, you're just messing around here.
Yeah,
the South Texas is getting cooler. Is it 85 and not 98? The hello from Virginia, not Colorado. Where are you at in Virginia?
Down there right outside of D.C.
Oh, so he's one of those rich men north of Richmond that they've been talking about.
I think so.
Yeah.
Green Honey King.
That is true.
He's on the opposite side of Dulles Airport in that area.
Well, I got the cool or the thin mint creamed honey done and jarred today. So I did have some people starting to ask me, was I going to be out there this weekend? Of course, it's a lady that asked me, was I out there last weekend? And she didn't show up. So don't know how that's going to pan out this weekend, but I told her I'll probably be out there if the weather's okay. But she's bought from me before, so she knows I live here. So and she's only a few miles away, so it's not like you have to wait till the weekend to come get your stuff, right? It's just jealous, Bob. Absolutely, I'm right here at home, just chilling like normal. But so what's new in you guys' world over there? Nothing.
I don't know. It was about 50. I guess it was about 55 today, something like that. Or it wasn't quite. It was sunny for a while, then it got overcast, and it was 52. Bees were flying a little bit. I put out the pollen bucket this morning, and they cleaned that up pretty good, and they were pulling pollen sub. And then, I don't know, sold some honey. I guess about, 6.5 pounds, 7 pounds. No, I guess it's actually almost 8 pounds today. So
8 pounds today?
Yeah, about 65, 70, about $75 worth.
So you can buy that screen material from just about anywhere, especially like a Tractor Supply or something like that. They typically have that type of stuff.
So, Brian, did you go up to Winchester to Patsy Cline's house? Where she originally came from?
She originally came from her mama.
But she grew up in
but grew up in Virginia.
Yeah, it's Winchester.
Well, weather-wise here, it's finally cooled down. It did not get up to the freezing point today, and that means the ground is firming up and a lot less mud. The barn is cooling off. It's starting to hold 4C better. And so that's really nice to see. Less worry. I sleep better. And I went out and did a little market today.
How'd you end up at the market, if you don't mind us asking?
Good. I'll just kind of describe it. This is a little market I've been actually doing for quite a few years. and it's in a neighboring town, 45-minute drive. It's actually a senior center, and it's sort of an invitational thing. The coordinator invites.
Your sound messed up all of a sudden.
Is that better?
Yeah, that's better.
So the coordinator invites a number of us to come to the senior center, set up in the common room, and the residents can come and buy things for themselves or gifts or whatever. So I've been doing it for quite a few years, and it's not a high dollar market. I don't do it for the money. I just do it for the fun to meet the people, and I know quite a few people who live there, and so I get to see my friends as well. And I sell enough honey to, make it pay for the trip out there and back, and then a little more. So that was nice.
I would assume most of those people probably don't get out on a regular basis either, right?
I think that you could probably say that for half of them, that they wouldn't really have a lot of outings, and that's why they bring vendors in. And some of the vendors are residents themselves. I have a couple that I see there regularly. I know them, and she makes preserves. So she has all kinds of preserves on her table, and she lives in the building. So it's open to a lot of different descriptions of products, crafts, and food and whatnot. There's a lot of people at baking. It's not a high end thing, but there's a lot of nice stuff there.
Well, it's nice that, if half of them can't get out, that you're basically bringing a market right there to them where they can still experience it and enjoy it,
Yeah, that's exactly it. And that's why I go, right? If I called her up and said, no, I'm not coming this time, there'd be a lot of disappointed people. And because, I've been the honey guy there for the last, 5 years or whatever it is, right? And people wait for the honey guy to show up. So that's really nice. Yeah, I was like $275 for today, which is modest, but they don't charge me to be there, right? So there's not a fee, just my gas out there and my time. So it takes kind of the whole day prepping, and then when I get home, it's almost supper time when I get home. So yeah,
since we're doing these title things tonight, I know when I say chief, I got chief of economics up there as it's kind of a joke, but the thing is that not everything we do is always monetarily driven, right? So sometimes it's just about supporting other people, and like buying books or helping Tim and Hannah get bee suits, or the FFA up there, is it 4-H or FFA up there in Canada that James does?
Here, the equivalent would be called 4-H.
Okay, so sometimes it's just about helping people, and to me that market is something that if I didn't make a dime, I'd probably still go. Right,
you'd do it anyway. Yeah. Actually, I have a new one that called me that I'm doing. I think it's the 14th of December, and it's in Winnipeg, just on the north side of Winnipeg. So that'll be a newer one for me. It's a longer market. This little one that I told you how much I made there. It was an hour and a half.
Right.
An hour and a half.
By the time you pay for the fuel and everything, it's
yeah, it's
negligible.
Fuel, it's $50 worth of fuel, right? So that's
and then by the time you buy the Chinese food for the ride home, then you're break even, right?
Yeah, it was like $80 for the Chinese food too.
Yeah. So
the gag there is it has a pretty nice little Chinese food place. So when I get out to that town, I'll bring home supper. But you got to eat supper anyway, right? It's not a net expense.
Right. Well, Todd's down in here, but all I see is a gray screen with a white logo on it. So I don't know if he's actually connected or what's happening down there, but we'll try to add him in. He's driving. Hey. That's what it is. I hear the road noise.
Hey. Can you hear my tire noise?
Well, it's
those Goodyears?
It's either that or that GNC rattling down the road. I haven't decided yet.
It's not a GMC.
Oh, it's an international. I got it.
Oh, dang it.
That's
now I
for,
can't cuss. My
that's
daughter's
for Ian.
in the car.
That's for Ian.
Well,
yeah, just for Ian.
Sorry I don't have my camera on. It's dark over here. And I'm in the middle of traffic. And just to give you guys a report, if you're on the Central Coast of California, the 101 is a parking lot, or in spots it's a parking lot. So
Well,
stay away.
Are you headed to your mom's?
Yeah, we're almost there. Here's a funny one for you. I got we left the house, I don't know, an hour and a half later. I think about, I forgot something. I was supposed to bring the ham for dinner tomorrow night, and I forgot it.
Well, thank goodness there's grocery stores on the way.
To the store,
find
Todd
a Fred
goes
Meyer somewhere.
Yes.
But did you bring the honey for glazing the ham? Oh, silence.
He's gone into a tunnel.
Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah.
Now we can.
Hello?
And now we can't. That quick.
It's just like that. Well, that sucks. You're gonna have to buy another ham. Yeah, it's not working.
He's got his
it's not working, Todd.
It's on mute.
I think he's going in and out there.
So I'll use the moment of silence to wish all my peeps in the south of the 49 parallel the happy Thanksgiving this weekend, or tomorrow at least. Tomorrow's just another day of work here, so we have our Thanksgiving earlier. So we get turkey and you don't in October.
We get candy in October. You get candy in October too, though, right? You guys do Halloween.
Too. Here's some trivia. You get candy on the 31st of October. And one of the famous candies in the world was born on the 31st of October. Mr. John Candy was born on Halloween.
John Candy was a Halloween baby?
He's a candy man.
Well, that's cool. I didn't know that.
Kind of ironic, eh?
Well, at least they don't share the birthday with Prince like I do.
That's too bad.
So I guess Todd is out of zone there.
Todd is zoned out.
He's zoned out.
Well, what about now?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
All right.
So you got to stop and buy a ham.
Service over here. Yeah. I already told my mom. She started laughing.
Did you bring the?
Sorry, Mom.
Did you bring the honey to glaze the ham? That's the real question.
Yep.
And out.
He's gone again.
He's gone again. He's like, I'm not going to answer that. Beekeeper. The beekeeper must bring the honey for the honey glazed ham. But, yep, warming cabinet's doing good. Well, Lee, only you can prevent forest fires. I don't know how to fix that with the heart in the chat way there. In the way on the chat.
Isn't that annoying? You can't click on the little dots because that heart's in the way.
Yeah, I don't even know how to fix it or where to fix it.
I don't think you can.
No, there's a way. I think you do it in YouTube, though. There's something to do in YouTube to take it out. And I'm not sure.
Bye, Todd. Have fun.
Did he hop out? Make sure I got this muted over here. There we go. I don't know how to make that thing disappear. If I did, I'd make it disappear. He knows how.
I know you do, but how do you do it?
Lee knows how.
Is he back again? Are you back again? Are we trying this again?
Yeah, I think so. I'm going to try one more time, then I'll hang up.
I said, did you bring the honey for the ham?
I think you said something about the ham, right?
Did you bring honey for the ham to glaze it?
Well, I got an hour and a half away from the house, and I thought about it, and then I thought, well, crap, I can't turn around now. So I called my mom, and she started laughing, and then she said, well, if worse comes to worse, I have 3 filet mignons wrapped in bacon in the freezer. We could always thaw out. So I said, well, let me go to the
That's better
store.
than ham any day.
I know. That's what my daughter said. So I'm still going to go to the store and see if I can find something. But that was my only job, Bob. Bring the ham.
You had
my only job.
One job.
I have one job, and that was it.
Actually 2. Bring you and bring the ham.
Well, yeah. So,
well, your mom
well
has been associated with you long enough to know. I'm surprised she didn't have a spare ham ready to go already.
Yeah, she might have thought this out already. I didn't know about it.
She may have already went to the store and bought a ham and already has it back at the house now.
You never know. You never know with her. She might. But yeah, I've got to find something here. I don't know what I could get, but I'll find out. So anyway, I just wanted to wish you guys happy Thanksgiving. I'm almost at the store here, so I'll have to jump out before my cell falls.
Ham may cause cancer in California. I wonder, you have to tell us if you go in there to buy a ham if it's got Prop 65 label on it.
Okay. All right.
Well, happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you. You too. And happy Thursday to you, Brad, I guess.
No, thanks. happy cover building day.
Yeah. Happy another work day.
Yeah. Happy Thursday. Smart aleck.
All right. Well, I'll talk to you guys later then.
Later.
All right.
So I did get a nice text from the boss today. The boss said, sent out a text that said, hey, officially the office is open. We're open on Friday. However, the office is closed. So no need to come to the office. So just go do your thing and then, go home when you're done. So it's like, oh, okay, cool. So there's a chance that, you get the cancellation of whatever appointment you've got. And that's that. So we'll see how Friday pans out.
That was pretty genius, whoever figured out that they should put Thanksgiving on a Thursday.
Yeah, most companies will give you a long weekend, but not ours. You get the holiday day off, and you're lucky if you get anything else after that. So, but today it's kind of weird. Today's being a holiday, it's different. But if this was a normal week, it would not only be a Friday, but it would be a Friday and a Sunday because I would have to go back to work tomorrow.
That makes my head hurt, Bob.
So we have to figure out a name for that day. Some kind of amalgamation of the word to come up with a day that, hey, you're off today, but tomorrow you have to go back to work type of deal. Let me see. Bruce is eating. Yeah, that's the bad thing about these holidays. Everybody comes back with bigger bellies.
Yeah.
Bob's Day. That's it. Bob's Day. It's Friday. It's a Bob's Day. Hey, Steve. Good to see you, Ben. Let me see. Everybody stream hopping.
General Motors gives us Friday off. Well, I was just thinking about people talking about buying a Monday car or a Friday car. You really don't want to buy a Thanksgiving Friday car.
Right.
Nobody's heart's going to be into building that car.
Lee says he's off for 5 days. Paul at Hale Hives is in South Carolina in the upstate, and he was talking about meeting for breakfast on Saturday. So we'll see if that happens or what's going on. Has anyone honey glazed a turkey? I have not. The closest thing I've done is used honey to make teriyaki to glaze chicken. And that worked well. Tasted really good. Charlie, you look so happy back there, just chilling. We need to get Charlie drinking or smoking or something back there. He might have the meme like Elon Musk where Elon's on Joe Rogan's show smoking the blunt. It could have Charlie back there smoking a blunt. Somebody will Photoshop it. There'll be a photo of Charlie sitting back smoking a blunt in the back there.
Hey, Brian.
Better signage for markets. I was looking at old Phil's gift box, for his honeys that he sells on the holidays.
Great thing, yeah.
And there's a box maker tool that's associated with the lasers that I could probably use my laser and cut out little, 3 millimeter thick basswood from the magic basswood trees of Canada that and make a little box to put together and that would do the same thing. It probably could get the dimensions there and everything. So
you could probably put a unicorn on the side of it.
I could definitely put a unicorn on the side. I could probably come up with a whole don't get me started. I could have a whole magic basswood with unicorns and rainbows honey box for a gift set. So Brian's getting into the markets pretty good, it looks like. Starting to get banners and everything. I'm lucky I have a table. My tailgate was working just fine.
We only need one, Darren. You can see it. It's amazing.
It makes amazing honey. So good. So good. Just start playing bluegrass. Charlie will get moving. Might have to do that. A little bluegrass in the background.
Yeah.
Charlie's so happy to
be here.
He's so happy to be here. Another chance. You sound like my wife when I ask her for anything. Hey, hon. What?
Oh.
Too much fun, guys. Too much fun.
I wish I had a whole day to tell you all about. Not a whole lot, just the market and some Chinese food. That's about it.
That's about how mine is too. Not much really to speak of. Just the cabinet still working well. Very well now that Charlie and the guys told me how to fix that timer.
Yeah, the beep, beep, beep.
It works better. Well, technically it works the same, but it works better for me because my wife isn't giving me the damn alarm's going off again.
It's much quieter.
It is. Well, I didn't hear it to begin with because it's that high pitch that I can't hear anymore.
Yeah, but you heard.
But I heard her guttural yell.
That's what I'm saying. It's much quieter on a couple of different levels.
I was telling you guys about I was bottling that creamed honey today. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I'm waiting for you to get out of the kitchen so I can start getting ready for. Oh, I'm sorry. Out of all this week, I spent 5 minutes in the kitchen, and now you're waiting on me.
Well, there's one thing you do not want to do is get in the way of Thanksgiving dinner.
Oh,
That
no.
is not good for a person.
No, she does an amazing job on Thanksgiving. And guys, not for nothing, there's only going to be 3 of us here, so we're going to have like probably way too much. I mean, just the turkey alone, I'll probably be eating turkey sandwiches forever.
Put your address in the chat, and we'll see if we can collectively take care of that for you.
Yeah, everybody just show up. Usually around 2:30, 3 o'clock, somewhere around in there. We'll have some Thanksgiving frying pan. See, I can't read because of the heart now. Going to fly across Bob's video soon. Yeah, probably. She did stop earlier in the doorway and but yeah, so it's kind of neat that you guys explained to me about doing the warmer cabinet, and Charlie's got a video, and I'm sure Brad's got a video on one, and now I've got the 2 refrigerators on the porch. One of them cools creamed honey, and the other one heats regular honey. So
isn't electricity wonderful?
Oh yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, warming cabinets. I can't really input very much for warming cabinets because mine's so different, and it does very different things. So, warming cabinet like you would need. I gave you a few tips that I thought I had, but that's all I got.
Well, I mean, it's definitely working. It's keeping the temperature right at about 106 Fahrenheit. And
how did you put your probe where it senses temperature? How did you manage that?
I used the good old duct tape. Actually, I used T-Rex tape is what I actually used, and I just taped the probe along the sidewall, along the roof in there, the top, if you will, and dangle it down in the middle.
Yeah.
So, and then I turn that fan sideways to blow across the heat lamp and blow it up through the little slot. So everybody was talking about the airflow, right? Because of the glass shelves, but I've got those little short, like your little lunch meat tray or whatever would hang from. So as compared to sliding it all the way in where should be, I pulled it to the center. So there's room in the back and room in the front. And then I just leave space between the jars, right? So the air should be able to get to them. So, but it seems to be doing well. I mean, I went out there and checked the honey today, and the jars were warm and the honey was clear. So, except for some of the mason jars at the bottom. So it's, but it's doing pretty good so far. We'll see how it does after a few days by the weekend.
I found when I decrystallize jars that there's a few jars that gets those crystals on the bottom. There is nothing I can do to liquefy that. I can burn that honey to a crisp and it won't liquefy that honey. I find that very strange.
I wonder if you turn the jar upside down and put that on top, would that not do it? Where the heat?
I've tried. There's just nothing I could do. So I don't know. So what I have is I just have my routine. I know what temperature. I know how long. I'll run it through that process. If it doesn't liquefy in the bottom, then that's just something I have to do something else with that jar. Right. It just doesn't go to the store or anything.
Becomes creamed honey.
Well, yeah, you can take it out and do something else with it. There's some kind of a chemical. I think that when the 2 sugars separate or something, there's something in there that happens, because it seems to me that it's maybe an older honey that's really
it's like that in the bottom, and you just can't get it out of there.
Yeah, that's right.
No matter what you do.
Yeah, even thinner than that sometimes, but just those crystals, they will not go away. Yeah. Yeah, Brian gets that too.
They go into the rebatch box. Or they could go into your sample. They could just be your sample tester, right? Let them test that first.
Oh, yeah. Darren said his alfalfa's doing that.
So we had the conversation, was it last night? Or I don't know. So many live streams on so many nights that it becomes hard to figure out when we talked about something. But at this point, I'm worried about running out.
Oh,
I don't have either. I've sold more honey faster than I normally do, or I'm just worried that I'm not going to have enough to make it at this point. So I thought I had
there being economics.
Well, I thought I had 5 or 6 cases of pints, and it turns out that half of those are gone. So I only have about 3 cases of pints left. I've still got some in my bottling tank. However, I've been making creamed honey, which that goes down pretty quick when you start making batch after batch after batch of creamed honey. So I was going to do the cinnamon first, but I was like, no, I'm going to go ahead and do the thin mint. And then after the thin mint, now I've got a batch in there started that I'm probably either going to make plain or cinnamon. I don't have the plain, and some people started asking me for regular plain creamed honey.
Well, while you're up there in Canada, you can always just go 18 hours over, and a guy's got 1,200 pounds, he'll sell you. From the Magic Bass trade.
The Magic Basswood honey? But I can't claim it's local honey then.
Well, you don't have to worry about it. You can cream it.
Just mix some of mine in it, and it'd be like the grocery store local honey.
Yeah.
But, yeah, the cash box does fill up. That's a good problem. So now I've got to figure out if I'm going to have to find some...
got to get a bigger jar.
I do. Well, it's really... it was a lot more. It was a lot more in there, but I bought that tote full of syrup, right? So that came out of there. And I just keep getting little pieces like this that people just come over and drop off. I mean, that's $30 at a pop. It's really an amazing thing. Brad can attest to this. When people just show up in your yard and hand you money,
they just drive up my driveway to hand me money. That's awesome.
That's it. Honk the horn.
It's like the guy at the red pickup tray come in. All right, give me 3 pounds. All right, see you.
I wonder if you could take one of those machines. I'm sure there is a way to do it. Like Rob has there, the vending machine that holds 1 pound jars or whatever, and keep it at a consistent temperature on the inside to where the honey doesn't crystallize in it. And people can just come up and tap the little square thing, because you can buy sodas and all with your credit card. Just put the vending machine right there. Be my luck, somebody would lift the whole vending machine and everything. They don't even have to stop. Right? I mean, they don't even have to honk the horn or nothing. Just pull up and, we need to get some honey. Where are you getting it? Oh, there's a machine down here. What do you mean, a machine to get your honey?
It's a honey machine.
A honey machine down the road.
You set it up and make it look like a really big beehive.
What if you could get one of those like water filling machines, right? Where you put your water thing in there and it fills it in there. You can just put the honey in the top and bring your own vessel and pick the size. I need a pint. Boom. You put your pint jar in there and hit the button. Like the old coffee machines, you put the cup in there and it fills it up, and then they just put the lid on it and carry it home.
Now you're thinking.
Then you don't have to sell any, you don't have to buy any glass or bottles or anything. You just have to tote a bunch of honey out there and fill it up.
That's for your return customers.
I bet you we could call the Chinese. We could call the Chinese. They could make that happen for a fee.
Probably already have.
They could engineer. Oh yeah, or Japan. Aren't they the ones that got all the vending machines on the streets where you can buy all kinds of ramen and all that stuff?
Or do they?
Well, I know they got the little cube hotel bed things that you can swipe your card and go into the little room and get in a bunk for a few hours. Or you could just retrofit one of those things if you had a way to seal those caps on the water jugs, right? The big 5-gallon ones, fill that up with honey, put that up in the thing so it dispensed right out of that water thing into your jug. So we could make that happen.
Yeah, that's not a sealed system, so.
Yeah, I bet you cleaning that thing would be hideous.
Yeah. That's a good idea, though. That's a really good idea.
Or
go there.
What if it was full of empty bottles, like the coffee machine, and you picked the size that you wanted, and then the bottle dropped down and it filled the bottle right there?
Just like the old-time coffee machine.
Yes.
You just kind of click the cup down and then...
It just drops the cup,
and
then fills it full of honey. That might, hey, we might need to market that.
You could have anybody build you that. Price of honey's going up to pay for that thing, though.
Why is your honey $700 a pound? Well, it was a $5,000 vending machine.
Oh, Grammy has a cake vending machine in their town.
Where you just show up and open the door and pull the whole cake out?
Machine? Oh, man. I love cake.
I wish there's somebody that we could that would test this. Especially, I think it would be good for like Brian, because Brian is in Denver, right? Denver's a bigger town. I bet you if he listed his apiary on Uber Eats or Uber Shops or whatever, that people would buy his local honey through the Uber app and come pick honey up to deliver to customers, where he wouldn't have to leave and they would just come pick it up and take it, because they will do that kind of thing. Like, what's the one where you do it with groceries and Instacart and all that?
Yeah.
I bet you could list on there and they would come do it. It probably costs the customer the fee, but
actually, I know a guy here in the city is doing that. I can't remember the name of the service, but it's the same thing.
That's an Alex thing. I just saw Alex pop in there. Yeah. Alex could do that from home.
For sure.
Because they're just coming to pick up the order, right?
Yeah.
And someone gives you an order, you bag it up. The guy comes, Joe is getting this honey. Well, when the driver gets there, you hand that guy the order. He scans it, he takes it out, you get paid.
Wonder what it costs to do that.
I don't know. It'd be.
I know the supermarkets here, they all offer where you can tell them to go out and pick all your food up for you, and bag it, and either you show up or they will deliver to your house and stuff. They're going back to what they used to do, if you think about it.
Oh yeah, delivery, door-to-door delivery.
Yeah, I mean, I watched a couple of British movies where, I mean, these were like in the night, setting. The setting was in the 40s, and the small grocery store would deliver, the grocery delivery boy or whatever you want to call it.
All right, so I will put a link up. However, I think we're going to have to start implementing rules, and the rule should be something of this. It's not a rule per se. Just be courteous that if you're coming on a live stream, remember it is a live chat, not a live sit up and let everybody see my face. So if you come in, we do expect talking. It's like a prerequisite to a chat is speech. So, we appreciate that.
All right. As far as the vending machine goes, Robbie has that thing invented. Yeah. It just never really took off.
Well, he had it at a market, I think. Just at a regular old market. My thing is here, I'd be worried about it because I have so many people that just walk up and down the street. So if it was a vending machine that took card only, where they can't really steal funds out of it, that would probably be the best thing. But if they think they're going to get some money, there's a chance that they could vandalize the machine.
I think I'd refrigerate mine, and not too cold, but just make sure it don't get hot. Maybe insulate it and refrigerate it, and card only, and creamed honey only. Right, so then you can refrigerate it, and then you don't have any, granulation issue or anything like that. Old McNally's honey.
He's got to be up. We're getting a loop, James.
I have to turn this one down.
Right, so then you can refrigerate it.
Hang on.
Mute him for a
Rookie
second.
mistake.
Is it fixed now?
That's
Yep.
better, I think, eh?
Sounds like it. Yep. So show everybody what you're doing, James. I know what you're doing because you were doing it last night.
Well, I'm in the kitchen.
Oh my gosh. She did it. The magic unicorn of
see what goes on and the shenanigans that go on in my house.
So she evidently did pick up the chat last night. She heard it. That's amazing. Now all we need is the magical basswood tree right next to it. And
You put a basswood tree behind that unicorn, you got yourself a logo.
that's it. There. That's amazing. So you're still scooping creamed honey?
Tonight's peanut butter honey.
Okay, in ounces, that little tray, how much does it hold?
8 ounces.
That's an 8 ounce?
250 grams.
Yeah, 8 ounce. Roughly.
Half a pound.
Yeah.
And I like those little trays. Well, I know you know, but it might be on your spreadsheet. What is the what's the cost breakdown on that? Do they come with the lids or you have to buy lids separate?
The cost breakdown on those for me. What's that? No, I think I already got it. So I think it works out with the lid. I want to say, I think it's 12 cents for the container, and I think it was 8 cents for the lid.
20 cents. That's pretty good.
So.
And when you smush the lid on, it seals itself with the.
It does, yeah.
So now does it have a taste of a prominent peanut butter where you don't really taste the honey?
No, so you taste the honey for the first, I'm going to say, what would it be, Alan? Second, maybe 2, and then you get the taste of the peanuts. So it's quite nice. I'd give you a taste, except, well, there you go.
I got my spoon ready.
Amazon.
But you know what's amazing about this product to me is if you look on the stem there, it says made in the USA or made in ASU. I can't.
Made in Canada thing again tonight, are you?
Well, when I ordered these, I thought it was going to be made in China, but it's made
in USA. That's a Chinese province.
USA.
So here I'll show you what I do though. So I get my labels, but you notice the bottom of that label is blank.
Yes.
Peanut butter. Nothing like overlays. Save you money.
That saves me a pile of money. You know, I don't have to have a different label for every one. So now that one is peanut butter. Just that simple.
Very nice.
Saves a pile of money.
So that peanut butter is a clear label with just printing on it, right?
Correct. Yep.
All right, so now
looks like it overlapped that other part of your label.
Yeah. So here, I'll do another one. So that I'll pull it off so you can kind of see. So
Yeah. Yeah,
All right.
that's like mine. When I put on top of my bottles, it'll say local honey, I think it is. And
Yep.
you just stick it on there and it is a yellow cap and then it makes the black lettering stand out.
Exactly. Like, I mean, that, once again, I get these done in these big rolls, and all I need to do is just have that one little overlay, and it works for, well,
Everything.
there's lemon pepper, hot honey,
Is
honey butter.
so on your label there, the big label, you don't have to do the French and English, or is that only in certain provinces?
Well, if I was retailing this, yes, but being as this is all being sold at a market. So this is all, they're buying it directly from me at a market.
So because you're selling it direct to the consumer, you don't have to do it that way.
Correct.
Gotcha. So how many do you have you bottled up so far?
I have no idea. We're on, I don't know.
And you're still using a spoon method for selling.
Yeah, I don't have all the money Bob has.
We didn't have that magic unicorn overnight.
And yeah, that magic unicorn wasn't pooping out any dispensers.
Well, I mean, after what you were showing last night, it's also pretty set what you're
Correct.
putting out, so it wouldn't work in the dispenser anyway.
No, it, like I said, it's I cream all mine first. So, but you know, it does ooze.
It's like the Dairy Queen. Nothing
Right.
comes out.
Yeah, Dairy Queen. So,
But it is so how many? So you got a variety. How many different varieties are you marketing right now?
what have I got right now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
And well, I know you don't have a creamer, so what are you using to cream with?
I got a stainless steel cement mixer, if you will, that attaches. I have a drill out there. I have a great big 1/2-inch drill that I only use to mix my 5-gallon pails. And so
you're doing 5-gallon pails at a time.
5 gallons at a time. Yeah.
Yeah. After doing this year, like just the last 2 weeks, I think I've been doing it.
Yeah.
That I'm definitely seeing the value of the big creamer right out of the gate. Cream a big batch and then divide it up into what you're gonna bottle.
So what are you're putting a paddle in a drill is what you're saying, James?
Yeah, so I've got a big stainless steel. I don't know how long would it be. It's long enough that it'll touch the bottom of the pail and still stay, I don't know, I'm going to say 10, 12 inches above the pail.
It's basically a mortar mixer.
Exactly. Yeah, but it's stainless, so it is stainless steel. So
I was watching Doug's that video creamer thing he had, and I don't know. It looked like I could see on the one end of it he had a honey pump. I guess that's just for running honey for automatic bottling, and then the other thing was definitely a creamer. So,
well, like I say, we've got a market that up here on Friday, so I'm just trying to get enough that I will have supplies for the market here on Friday.
But those big creamers like that
out of the tank into the creamer, Charlie. I think that's what he was doing. I
can see where he's filling it out of that tank.
Well, he showed that he warmed that barrel in that thing that he had.
Yeah,
and
I've seen that.
After he warmed it, he pumped it out of the barrel into the creamer, I think.
Well, it went up to that filtration box and over in that other big Maxant bottling tank, and then he had the Maxant valve pulled down and tied down, and it was going into his creamer. But now, is his cream, when he creams that honey, is it going to get thick like James is there in that tank? Well, then how do you, what do you do?
Probably
Kind of
not
like,
thick
how
in
do
the
you,
tank. So I think what he does there is he seeds it, and before it sets right up like this. Now I only saw part of his video, but I think before it completely sets up, he pours it in, and it'll set up in the container afterwards. So
Yeah.
so it's more liquidy when it comes out of the creamer.
exactly.
The creamer basically is just a stirring mechanism, right? It's just designed to stir the crystals amongst the honey.
Well, it is, but it does a little bit more than that. If his was heated, his was jacketed, right? So I mean, you could use control the temperature there a little bit and stuff like that too. So,
but after talking to him when he was on the show the other day, he said he had sold out of his creamed honey, so he had to mix some more, right? So he brought another barrel in. Then they warm that up, and he runs it through his warmer, back into his creamer, and then I guess he adds the seed and creams it up that way.
Yeah.
But this is a jar of the Snickers peanut butter one, or the Snickers that I made, and that was in the refrigerator for a few days. It's still, I mean,
it's not. That's
still a little runny, but tastes pretty good. Oh,
he hit the wrong button.
So
bye.
I'm sure he'll pop back in a minute, but yeah, that's the there he is.
Hit the wrong button.
He got excited about Snickers creamed honey.
Well, that and the fact that she was out of her suit.
She's out of her unicornness. Her unicornness.
Say no more.
No. I still wish you would have that magic unicorn would have pooped out a creamer.
So what do you think about the warmed? We had this discussion a week or so ago about warmed creamer, creamer that's also a warmer, and a creamer that's just basically a stainless steel.
I would say for the difference in price, you would probably be better off just to get the one that could be multi-purpose. So I'd get the jacketed one.
And that way, if you're not creaming honey, it's just a bottling tank then.
Correct.
Oh.
Did you say you have Snickers honey?
Snickers creamed honey, yes, ma'am.
Oh my!
Great. Now you know what I'm going to have to figure out, right?
Where to get Snickers flavoring. Well, they also have Twix, and from what I understand, they have Cinnamon Toast Crunch. And I got the Girl Scout Cookie Thin Mint that I did today. So.
Thanks, Bob.
Hey. Oh. Help me help you, James.
You're breaking.
But it might be difficult. Actually, you probably can just find it on Amazon. Let me see.
I'm gonna put you on hold here. Just I'll be right back.
All right, let's see. Snickers flavoring. Oop, if I spelled it right. It's okay to talk, guys. We're just
So Todd says there's no Proposition 59 warning on ham, but he says he didn't buy one either because filet mignon was voted on, so he didn't want to spoil that plan.
I heard somebody hop in over here.
What's Proposition?
Hey, Brian.
Hey, Brian.
It's Brian from Virginia. Can't hear you, though.
You're supposed to talk if you're on the chat.
It's a new rule.
New rule.
No, can't hear you. So James is paused out. All right, so I can share this though, possibly.
There he is.
All right, James. Amazon's your friend. Share screen.
Kind of like cake batter.
Lemon pepper.
That seems like it would be a curious one to try.
What's that? Lemon pepper?
Yep.
Oh, you know what? You take it straight out of the container, right onto your wings out of the oven, or right onto your salmon or your pork chops. Oh,
Really good.
really good. Can you send me that link, Bob?
Well, I would have to link you all of Amazon.
Oh,
But
well, just copy and paste the top bar there, the search engine, and send that to me. Then I can probably pick it up. They got all sorts of flavors there, right?
yeah, Twix. This is the one I made today, the Girl Scout Cookie Thin Mint. I just saw that they have Girl Scout Cookie S'mores.
Oh,
This is the actual one that I used here. So they got a 2-pack for $15 of the seasoning. Cinnamon Toast Crunch, Cinnadust seasoning. This one's just called Special Shit, so I probably wouldn't put that in there.
I got a unicorn. I got lots of that.
It's from if you read, it's from Big Cock Ranch Special Shit Premium All-Purpose Seasoning. So I don't know if I want it. I don't know if I want anything to do with that.
You really can't make this stuff up, can you?
You can't. Let's see.
That's too much.
But here's the Snickers right here.
Truth. Oh, yes. Truth really is stranger than fiction.
But yeah.
So, I don't know if you guys can see this. Oh, I'll wait till you're done there, Bob.
Yeah, let me just remove this. Sorry.
Oh, don't be sorry. It's on your stream, isn't it?
Brian, are you taking you out or am I taking you out on accident?
Still
Still can't hear you, yeah. That's the lemon pepper.
Lemon pepper, yep.
Have you got a microphone, Brian?
Use the camera mic.
Speak into the microphone, Brian.
He's probably like me. He started to get frustrated on why I won't.
No, he's sitting back there saying that McNally's a jerk. And he's not wrong, just for the record.
It says it has a ring about it. Todd. I bet you that Cinnamon Toast Crunch one would be interesting. But what I'm finding out is...
I wonder if it'd be any different than just like, say, a cinnamon butter spread or something, though.
Probably. Well, Cinnamon Toast Crunch tastes kind of like French toast.
Hey, look, new label. It's a lemon one.
Speak into the microphone. Let's see. But yeah, there's all kinds of different seasoning flavors, and the more that I go down the rabbit hole with creamed honeys, my worry is, and it's not a worry from will it ever sell, it's will I cream too much different specialty honeys where my runny honey customers run out because I've used it all to cream honey instead of to sell in the jar.
Well, from a business point of view, what's the difference whether you sell it creamed or you sell it runny?
Well, if I sell it creamed, I'm making twice as much money.
Right? And I don't know what you do, but I get a premium for my my flavored honeys.
Sear.
Hello.
Yay!
Yay!
Welcome, Brian.
So I'm Brian. This is my first time doing this. Sorry about that.
Long time viewer, first time caller.
That's right. Yeah. So I just wanted to talk markets a little bit. I enjoyed the market conversation you guys had. I don't know, last week. Lot of great points being made. But I do want to say things that are a little bit different than what I heard that night. And my point is this: your context is key. Brad said something like he hates doing the 2-day markets. I love them. My 2 best events are my 2-day markets. I kill it on my 2-day markets, right? And I'm not sure, Brad, what was your thinking around not liking those 2-day markets? But for us, our best weekends of the year are these 2 events. That's a Saturday event. We set up on Friday. We go all day Saturday, all day Sunday. They're long weekends. There's no doubt about that. But we love them. So I think finding your context. Brad said another thing that's totally different for me: farmers markets, right? He said farmers markets were a bust for him. I love my farmers market. So I don't think Brad's wrong about his farmers market. My point is your context is going to be different, right? Maybe Brad's
Oh yeah,
farmers
your
markets
customers are
are
going to be very
terrible.
different in different areas. It's just like beekeeping.
Yeah.
Trying to tell somebody how. People ask me, Bob asked me, well, what should I do? Well, I don't know. You're in South Carolina. I'm in freaking
Yeah.
Manitoba. Like,
Yeah.
and so that's exactly the same thing. And like the 2-day markets thing, the weekend thing, it has mostly to do with the fact that I'm too old for that stuff.
Yeah.
Right? We've
Yeah.
done 3-dayers. We've done like country fair
Mhm.
3-day markets. I'm lucky I'm still married, right? And it just seems to me, and another one that I said, Brian, that I will never again do. Like people ask me, oh, we have a market every Sunday all summer, and I said, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that, because the average of every Sunday that I have to put in there just doesn't pay for me in the context of what people do here at markets. And boy,
Yeah.
that may work totally differently for somebody else.
That's right.
Yeah, the 2-day thing, I just think it has to do with how big your market base is for people to come there, right? Um, so often, if I do a 2-day thing, I remember we did a 2-dayer up here. Oh, it's got to be 4 years ago or so now. We did a Saturday and a Sunday. Saturday, I sold about $1,500 worth of stuff, and Sunday, sold about $50.
Yeah.
Right?
Wow.
Everybody that was going to come did come
Yeah.
on Saturday. Right? So
I think
it's just
you're making a good point there, Brad, and I think it might have something to do with the populace around that market. Some of the smaller towns, I think that's exactly what you're going to have. I mean, here around Grand Prairie, we're a limited market. I mean, whereas maybe somewhere down south and stuff like that, you've got a much bigger population. So you don't saturate that market maybe on day one. I don't know. Maybe that's the difference. So.
Yeah, if you've got a tourist destination or something, you've just got a constant influx and rotation of people. That's a little different. And I don't know, Brian, how your impression about how people view farmers markets here? I still think people think farmers markets are bargain places. Oh, I can buy it straight from the farmer. That means I'm going to get it cheap. And then when they show up, it's not cheap. They don't buy anything.
No, that's not the perception of our customer base. Our customer
Yeah.
base has that perception of we're willing to pay a little bit more because we're buying it directly from the farmer.
Right. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's the rationale, right? Is that you're cutting out the middleman being the store, and that profit is going directly to the farmer, which is where it should be to begin with, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I had
Now
a
for the
phone call this morning. Guy wanted, I think, 8x8s, and I was like $7 more than what he could get it at the local lumber store. And I'm like, guy, I said, buy it at the lumber store. I said, you're looking for a post on your front porch. It's got to be dry lumber. It's got the right type of lumber, And he was going to wrap it and all. So I get that.
Or you have to use a bigger, more little set.
No, we've got our holiday season is set up in a really nice way for us. I don't want to stand out in the cold in November and December, and Colorado weather can be pretty unpredictable. So it could be 70s, it could be snowing. So we found this one market that they rent a giant retail space. It's an inside retail space, and they do it for 3 weekends, every other weekend. So our first one was this past weekend, and it's 3 days. It's Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday. So we set up that Friday morning on November 17th, something like that. We took our products home at the end of the market that weekend. In fact, we didn't even do it. My son covered that Sunday. So he covered Sunday and brought our products home. But our whole setup stayed there. We don't have to take our setup down until the end of that 3rd week. And this is one of those that's more expensive than the others. But for those conveniences, it's worth it for me. That saves me a lot of time, not having to set up. It's basically 9 events, Friday, Saturday, Sunday times 3. I'm set up for 9 events. I don't have to move my stuff. And I know this market because I've done it before. They're going to turn people around. So it's going to be hopping all 3 weekends. So I get to be inside. I don't have to worry about any weather. It's like a mile and a half from my house. And for me, it's pretty expensive. It's actually our most expensive one we do all year. But for what we get in return, it's totally worth it.
We have more of like flea markets here, right? Where the people sell produce and all kinds of whatever. But one of them actually has, I hate to call them storefronts, but it's like a storage unit with the roll down door, right? So you can rent that space, keep all your stuff in there, and then just roll it up on the weekends, and you're maybe pull out a few things, but you're there all the time. You don't have to move anything either. And you are sheltered underneath, the breezeway and being in that covered area, but it still gets cold. So, but not cold.
And is that year round? Does that go year round?
Year round. Yeah, you can do it every weekend or whatever if you want to.
Yeah, but the problem with that is it ties your weekend up. Unless unless you're
for you and I right now, that's an issue. But Brian's week, and I'm not wanting to speak for Brian, but from what I gather is he builds all of his stuff all week when it's not bee season. He's building, getting all his stuff ready to make his money on the weekend, right? So he makes his money on the markets on the weekend, and then the next week it's what do I need to replace so I can make money this upcoming weekend.
Yeah, but that's 7 days.
Now the reality is I've been working every day this whole summer, but you're right. That's my goal this year, as I don't have that teaching job now, is stocking up on all those products this winter. So I don't have to keep turning it over and turning it over and turning it over. But I was working the Brad Hog Day work week, only 2 more days till the end of the week kind of thing. So, but that is a goal of mine, Bob, to take days off during the summer this year for sure. Won't happen, but it's a goal.
Right. Then now it's during the week. It's the summer. I've got to go check the bees, right? Then you're working bees during the summer.
But the trade-off is I get the winter off, after this holiday season. I'll have a couple of months that are on the down low. I'll get to relax. I'll get to do some research, do some reading, do some product development, that kind of stuff. All the stuff you never have time for in the summer.
You see Russell's comment here?
No, I don't see the comments now.
He says he lives
we have
town of 900.
I do these visits back to the East Coast. So we're in a house right here that my wife's brother rented. We just kind of converge on the East Coast somewhere. And I put myself in this place and I try to imagine, okay, what if I moved here? What kind of business would I put down in this place? And it's not going to be Flower Street Farm. It's not going to be the exact same thing because we built that business based on our situation in Lakewood, Colorado. And that situation is going to be very different. If I plop down in Purcellville, I don't have that same market, or maybe I do, I just have to drive 30 miles east or wherever. I just have to figure out how I would fit into this market. So I've already started thinking about if I move here, what might, how might my business model change because of that geographical situation?
Right. It's well, like I'm trying to, obviously with the creamed honey and stuff, I'm trying to emulate some of the stuff you're doing. It's no surprise, right? The way my labels look, very similar to your labels. I mean, not exactly, but you know what I'm saying? It's,
yep. But I take that as a compliment, Bob.
But with creamed honey, nobody knows what it is here unless they moved here from up north, right? It's like nobody has an idea. So where you've already been educating your customers for a few years, I'm just at the, here, try this so you know what it is, and then, you know, get a few sales off of it. But it does, I mean, it is, if they taste it, they buy one usually. They may not buy them both, but hey, I like the Snickers, or I like the, you know, the other flavors, whatever. I mean, as long as they buy something, I'm happy. And they're not stopping here to just look for the most part. Emulating someone that is succeeding is much better than someone that isn't. Oh, yeah, unfortunately. And I kind of agree with Carl up there, too. He says a true business owner works 7 days a week. Maybe not physically, but you're always thinking about it, right? Right. Oh, how can I implement that into what I'm doing, or something like that? So I'm only really making, and you guys will probably laugh, Brian maybe not, but so when I'm making batches, I'm not making more than about 12, like a half a case of the jars, 12 to 15 jars of each flavor. That's it. That's all they're getting, right? Because I don't know what sells, and I don't want to have 2 cases of Snickers and everyone says, I don't like it and don't buy it, right? Or 2 cases of peanut butter. So I'm still trying to feel out that market on what's going to sell and what's not. And then, oh, if I blow out a Snickers, well, that's the one I need to make, right? So that's what I'll start focusing on. But it's just feeling that market out and trying to figure out, like you said, what works in your area and what works for you.
And I definitely recommend plain creamed honey. Everybody should have plain in their repertoire, because that's one of our best sellers of all of our flavors. A lot of people go right back to the plain because it's probably the most versatile of the creamed honeys. You know, you put Snickers in a creamed honey, that's gonna really drive how you use it. And in fact, we're staying in a small town here, right near a small town called Snickersville. So every time I drive it, I think about you on the side of the road.
Now that's marketing right there.
That's marketing.
If every time you see a Snickers, you think about Bob's Snickers creamed honey, that's it. That's what I was going for. I
haven't seen an astronomer lately, so
but that's the whole trick, right? I mean, I had a lady, and it was she showed up and she drove. For me, it's a great distance, right? There's a lot of towns between where she drove from and where I'm at. And she said once her husband bought honey from me, that he won't eat honey from anywhere else. They come 2 hours up here, buy honey, go 2 hours back home. So, I mean, I'm sure they're coming up here for another reason, maybe to visit a relative or something, but it makes you feel good. And especially when your mentor's standing right there and he sells honey right down the street from you, right? And and he's saying how good his honey is. And she's like, oh, my husband won't eat any other honey. I'm like, yes. So it's
your mentor's there poaching your customers.
That's what he was trying to do. He was. I mean, he said, well, I think my honey's better, is what he said. Now his flavored honeys are better because he doesn't do any flavored honeys.
Friday, Saturday.
So,
yep.
But the thing is, he doesn't make as much honey as I do. So it's like anybody else around here. They're going to sell out, and then I'm going to capitalize the market. And then they're going to be like, why am I calling this guy to see if he's got honey? And he doesn't. And then I can call this guy and he always has honey, you know, then I
broke your rule, Bob.
What? Not talking?
I was muted and blinded.
Well, half the time you're talking so much, so it averages out, right?
It's an average.
Oh, bazinga!
You've got a balance in the bank. We'll just put it that way.
Yeah, well, I understand not everyone can talk at every time, right? But the idea is if you come on to please chat. That's it, right?
Makes sense.
I mean, that's
So,
it is a life.
So when someone asks you a question, it's a prompt for a conversation. You don't just answer yes or no. Even if it's a yes or no question, it's an opportunity to expand on that idea.
Right.
Well, that wasn't yes or no. That was right.
That is correct.
All right.
Well, Brian, fundamentally, I would agree with your statement. And I think overall your statement is true. And is that just what you were saying that you wanted?
Yeah. Yeah.
We gotta. It's got to be deeper conversation. Deeper conversation.
Well, and I'll be right back. I got to go find a box.
A box.
That there KitchenAid mixer, Bob, you said you found it. What was it, $250 or something like that, brand new?
Yeah, there was a Black Friday sale. Now the one I have, and I don't know if it's the same one that Brian has, but it's got the stand that you there's a handle on it, and you turn the handle, and it raises and lowers the head. Right. Some of them you can tilt back like a blender, but mine actually raises the mixer up and down.
The bowl raises the bowl.
Yeah, one of the two things raises what I'm saying. The bowl raises.
You got the same one I have, but it raises the bowl. The head doesn't. The head is fixed.
But is it called the lift stand or something like that?
I think it's called bowl lift.
No, it seemed like how the computer sees what you're looking at, and there's a guy in a town that's got like a whole bunch of used KitchenAid mixers, but like he had one up there with like $200 and some. Well, shoot, you can buy a brand new one for on this Black Friday at $250.
Best Buy has them for $249.99 for the 5.5 quart one.
Who does Best Buy?
Best Buy. That's what it's showing for pickup at my area. So you got to look
at Costco. I saw them at Costco for $300 a couple of weeks ago too.
And I bought mine at Sam's Club. But mine was a little bit higher than that, like a lot higher. But they try to say you're getting the second. I did get a second bowl and a second little whisk and a flexible spatula thing for it.
Yeah, here it is. It's $250 basically. Was $450.
Yep, that's about right.
Bargain.
$250.
That's a bargain for that thing.
And then the front, if you can get the pasta, if you're into that thing, the pasta maker, the sausage grinder, all that stuff attachment to go on the front. I don't know. I mean, if I get that, it would probably never be used, but yeah, it's an option.
Bob's saying he's never going to grind his sausage.
Never grinding sausage, probably.
Just saying.
Oh, those who try to get you banned from YouTube.
Save it for later.
That's for the after hours chat, sir. After hours chat. So James, any news on a line yet?
Yes.
That's all you're gonna say about that. Sure, there's
Okay, so in other news.
Yeah.
No. So no, actually we are working towards one for sure. Once again, thanks to Brad. He helped me out there on the weekend and actually went for a drive, and we that worked out really, really well to have a first-hand look and to see exactly what it is. So that is a very nice line for sure.
Well, I'm sure we'll see the 36-hour drive video.
I haven't made a drive video since I bought my new truck.
What are you waiting for, young man?
Yeah, I've been working too much. That's the problem. Trying to get things done. And tomorrow, well, actually, like I said, they're going to pick up a lot of the stuff for the market tomorrow, get that all set up. But I also have the meadery showing up here tomorrow night too, for another round of picking up some more honey too. So that's going to help me out, a whole bunch more as well. So
are they? How much honey have they purchased from you so far this year?
What would it be?
Because you would think to be that guy to supply meadery that you've got.
It's been at least a couple barrels, hasn't it?
Oh yeah, no, it's well over a couple barrels. So I think they're approaching 4 or 5 barrels now. So and she hasn't let me know exactly what she wants last night or for tomorrow night, but she did phone and say, okay, well, how much honey have you got that does not have a high portion of canola in it, because that doesn't work for her meadery. It just for the wine or the mead, it doesn't give her the taste she's looking for. But she did ask how many pails, barrels and stuff like that I had left that wasn't a high quality or a high quantity of canola. So I gave her all of that. So I'm not sure if that means she wants it all. That'd be great. But it is a possibility. So I think we did a count out there. I think we're down to, what did I say? 25 or 3,500 pounds or something like that is all we got left out there. So
down to 35.
Yeah. So sales have been just all right this year so far.
Well, at this point, you're probably going to sell out ahead of time.
Oh, I would think I will be out of honey for sure before spring.
So I know you were joking around the other night and you said you needed 50,000 pounds of honey. How much do you think that would take you to make it 12 months? How much honey would to retail? Because
with the meadery and Eagle Farms, they get honey off of me as well for their Haskaberry, and they sweeten all their Haskaberry juices and jams and everything with my honey. In all honesty, 50,000 pounds is probably light.
50,000 pounds.
It's probably not enough.
So you don't even need, what is it, Bee Made up there?
I don't, but the difference is Bee Made would be a guaranteed sell, and I wouldn't be, having to say, okay, well, calling these people up and saying, well, do you need any more honey? Do you need any, that takes time. And it takes a lot, and it's not guaranteed. So, that might be good this year, but I didn't have that last year, but obviously my market's growing.
Well, they know about you. That's the thing.
That's what's growing, right? So, and you got to remember, we're a long ways from anywhere up here. So, and the one thing, that'd be perfect, Alan. The one thing that I do, which is different than a lot of the beekeepers up here, is I don't just necessarily put my bees on canola. We got some fields and stuff like that are clover and alfalfa. So, and that's kind of my niche. That's what everybody is looking for. So maybe I do both. Maybe I keep the bees on the canola. I sell that to Bee Made. Now there is things in that contract that says I can't do other things if I do sell to Bee Made and stuff. So I'd have to take a look at all that to make sure I'm not in violation of those contracts and those agreements and stuff too.
But so it's really damned if you do and damned if you don't, right? So if you sell the Bee Made, you're losing money per pound potentially. Well, you are.
You definitely will get paid less through a broker or through BMade, yes.
And then, but it's consistent and steady, right? So
correct. Now you gotta remember too, like these things, I make a premium on them. To give you an idea. Oh, let me stand you back up.
Not enough to buy a phone stand, apparently.
So here's 1 kg.
Okay.
So there's 4 of them. I sell each one of these for $8 a piece.
So
$32 a kg.
Right. I don't get $32 a kg for this.
Which is a 2.2 pounds, right?
Correct.
Yep. So how much are you getting for just the regular runny honey, like in the kg container there?
Let me tell you. I just happen to have a price list right here that I printed off for Alan. $22.78. Nope, pardon me, $20.48. $20.48.
$10.
$10. Just over $10 a pound, or just under $10 a pound, I guess.
So
I upcharge my specialty honeys by 50% as well.
So there's added time, right? There's material. I don't pay much, but and I don't get paid.
That's what Alan said. You don't pay much at all.
Yeah, and I tax him on comments like that, so he owes me.
Well, I mean, that's the same thing. So like I sell my regular honey at 10 a pound. If you did these smaller jars, it comes out to $20 a pound, right? Because they're still paying $10 for the smaller
Exactly.
jar. So, I mean, not as much as Brian makes for his. Mine's not as premium as his. Actually, it's where I think, first of all, it's a new product. Nobody knows about it. So have to wait to get the flavor in their mouth before they'll start. I can bump it up a little bit, but.
Well, like, and to go back to what a comment you said earlier, you hoped you didn't run out of runny honey before you creamed it all. I would sit back and say, why the heck aren't you creaming? Why aren't you creaming it all?
Well,
because I get paid a premium for my creamed honey.
Yeah, but you have the market for creamed honey. Evidently, the phone stand market is shit in Canada.
Maybe he can find a good woodworker and build himself one.
But it's about the market, right? You're up in Canada, they're familiar with that. That's a very known product for creamed honey, right? So
correct. Yep.
You're not having to break and educate the market on what creamed honey is like I am here.
All right. I got a question about, Bob, you got the little glass jar of creamed honey, and then he's got a plastic.
I like his plastic ones. That would be great in a grocery store.
Plastic tub where I can see that you can take a butter knife and run it across there and then spread it on your bread. It's easier than the glass jar. The glass looks pretty, but usability wise, the plastic tub is better and it's cheaper.
Correct.
So Brian, you're using the kind of like the glass octagons or what?
Yep. And I agree with everything that you said there, Charlie, and you hit it right on the head. It's pretty, right? So I'm thinking of my market, and my market, that's my customer base. They're looking for a really nice product. It's 1,000 times easier to get that out of the tub that James is using.
Yeah.
So if I had a customer base that was looking for the ease of use, I would definitely put it into something like that, or at least a jar with a wide lid, right? Mm-hmm. Maybe still glass, but a wide lid jar. But again,
I'm sitting here thinking
I use those same things. Now these are smaller jars. This was a custom order for a client. She makes baskets. She didn't want something like this in the basket. She wanted something that looked good in a basket. So it's the octagon jar, nice label. It's all still on there. You know,
I got
nice clear honey. But this was a custom order. So I do this as well when they're willing to pay for it.
No, I don't know. I'm sitting here. I'm getting the itch. I'll say about doing creamed honey, and I'm looking at, all right, do I spend $250 plus tax? So that's going to be about $263. Yeah, it'd be $12, $13, $14, $15 more on top of that. Be $265.
So if you buy these containers in bulk, which is what I do. So when I do up my my Excel sheet, so I got an Excel sheet here that I printed off for Alan. You know, I'm not going to put it out there a whole bunch, but when I do that up, I know exactly what the container costs. So when I do that up for this, I retail, or this cost I will use if I'm buying one container. I buy them by the case, cases of cases, in fact. So to give you an idea, there was 250 in a case, complete with the lid, and I buy them at bulk rates. For 250 of them, I paid $34.
With the lids.
With the lids. So take your 34,
and
34
and I think
so
that
35 divided by 250.
That exactly emphasizes the point. Someone who wants something in a plastic tub like that is looking for the function. They're looking for the ease of getting it out of the jar, right? Someone who wants it in, and I think it's actually a hexagon, James, not an octagon. Is looking for.
I thought it had 8, but that's okay.
Yeah, exactly. That's okay. But they're looking for a gift to put in a package or a stocking or something, and the tub just doesn't look right for it. It's 1,000 times easier to get the creamed honey out of there for sure, but it's about what the customer wants anyway.
Correct.
When I get liquid honey, I love a squeeze bottle, but I never, ever put my honey in plastic to sell because that's just not my business model. But I also know how easy it is to take a bottle, squeeze it around, and put it on my sandwich.
This is the only squeeze bottle I got here. So and you notice it's empty.
Because you use it.
But because I used it. Actually, it is. Well, actually, this is from your neck of the woods, Bob. So this is down by out of Georgia. You know, a friend of mine down there. So
that's a bug farm.
Yeah.
Now, see, I used the plastic, and people don't care per se. I don't
for runny honey.
For runny honey, yeah.
You can't.
There's other beekeepers. My club, they're all about glass and all that kind of stuff. And I said, well whatever. I'm looking.
Also, I mean, if you're putting creamed honey in something like this, then obviously you see it's mostly soft set, right? When you start flavoring it, doesn't always fully harden. Brian might dispute me on that, but mine hasn't hardened all the way up like that yet. So you could use a squeeze bottle for it, but then I would have to charge them $20 for a bottle like this. And the mental perception is $20, right? The mental perception on this is $10 because it is $10, but it's the same as $20 for this, right? So, where they might buy a couple different flavors and try a couple different things. It seems to, at least with my infancy of only having sold creamed honey one weekend in my life, you know, I'm brand new to the creamed honey thing. So I'm following you guys' lead on that and trying to make a market. Now, if here our grocery stores do have a local section that I could market, like those tubs, but then there's a whole thing, right? Then I got to get into I got to get inspected and I got to get all that stuff going on, which it wouldn't pass because my honey processing facility, my screened in porch would have to have water and hot water and all that stuff and inspect it and just because it's not honey season doesn't mean they can't come and inspect it when I'm not harvesting, which means it still has to be ready to go if they decide they're just going to stop by one day and check it out, right?
Now, for me, my cottage rules, I can sell straight creamed honey, no problem. Once I add something to it, then it's, you got to have a commercial kitchen, I think.
Yeah, that's the same as here. However, I also know that the bee police are off on Saturdays and Sundays when I'm selling it out on my.
Well, see, it's not really the bee. If you go to a farmer's market, and I have some friends of mine in the club, and the guy comes up, and he knows who the guy is. He's from the local health department. You got any free samples? No. Here's a free sample for $5. All right, see you later. And then here's the next
free sample right there. Taster spoon.
Can't do that.
You can't do it there?
No, sir. You can't give out samples.
So we can do that up here, but you have to provide your food safe certificate. Has to be on your table and everything like that to show that you've met those requirements. You understand what those requirements are. And
now, a friend of mine, Lloyd, now he does a handful of markets, but he has to get a permit in order through the health department because it's a farmer's market or something like that. And then because of that, and he does, with the one spoon and all that, then he can give samples of runny honey out. So I'll have to talk to him a little bit more about it.
Well, I do have a sample of my regular honey. Most people don't taste my regular honey because it's honey, right? I hate to say there's nothing special about it because we all like to believe that it's the best honey in the world, right? However, it's honey. People have tasted honey before. It's not.
Well, it's like I sell bears, which is 8-ounce bears for $5. And I've noticed the trend. They come in, they don't know your honey, and they're not sure whether they're going to like your honey. So they buy the bear because it's cheap. And then once they find out it tastes good and they like it, then they come back and they start getting the 1s and the 2s and then the 3s and stuff like that. And now over the last several years, the bear market has dwindled to where I've gotten to the point where I'm not sure whether I even want to, carry the bear anymore. And, I sold one this week, sometimes it goes in cycles. It'll go in where you'll sell a dozen of them within a week. And then all of a sudden you don't sell nothing for weeks.
What I found is once I started doing quarts and pints and 1 pounds bottles, the 1 pound bottles almost stopped selling. Everybody buys the pint size, the middle size typically. Mm-hmm. I do sell some quarts, but mainly pints, and that's good for me because the pint jar is cost effective, and I'm selling more honey in it, so same cost, more profit off of it. The same jar, right?
What's a pound and a half?
Pound and a half, yeah.
Yeah. The number one sellers for me are 1s and 2s. And 3s are starting to pick up a little bit more.
Let's see.
Carl, you're having your license to do what?
So commercial kitchen.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's exciting.
He
says it's not that expensive in Pennsylvania. I wonder what that means to him.
Well, not expensive here. Expensive. I don't think the actual license is expensive, right? It's getting your building ready for said inspection, right? That is the expensive part, right? Making sure it's got the sink, making sure that it's got surfaces you can wipe down, making sure you've got drains in the floor and stuff like that, I don't have that. For me to put a drain in my floor, I'd have to literally drill the concrete out, cut the concrete to run the pipe, re-concrete it in, right, for a floor, which would actually be all right. But then I have to plumb that into the drains and everything else, right? I can't just let it run out to the yard. So it's a little bit of a thing there. I actually thought if I hit the Powerball one day, to buy a closed down like fast food restaurant or something, because they are already set up for a commercial kitchen. But not to run as a fast food restaurant, but to be a honey processor or packager there, right? And the what would have been the walk-in or dining room could then be the showroom / shop. And then the kitchen part could be your honey extraction part, right? Look.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm like you, Bob. Is right now I'm looking at my sales rate per week, and I'm like, do I have enough honey to get from right now until July of next year?
I don't. I can already call that. I won't have enough.
I want to input into this what you just said, Charlie, and Bob. You're talking about, well, gee, I don't know if I'll have enough honey to make till next season, and we've all been talking about markets and where to sell honey and how to sell more honey and all kinds of stuff. But there's a reality that you produce a finite amount of honey, unless you're a buyer, like some people, and that's legit. You can buy honey all day long and resell it and all that kind of stuff. But most of us here are selling what we produce. So, that's
you get the highest profit on it.
That's the context that my profits, my comments are in. And, so there's different, there's different thought processes there. You think, well, all of these schemes let's take a kind of worst case scenario. I'm looking for a new way to sell my products, so let's go ahead and put together that commercial kitchen or rent a commercial kitchen and get all the licensing required. And it's very jurisdictional, so nobody can say, my jurisdiction is the same as yours. It's not. So what's your return on investment? Like, do you really need to do that to go to that next level of selling your honey? Because are you going to sell all of your honey before you get more next season? And if you are, why would you bother doing that? It's called low-hanging fruit.
Right.
Try to sell honey direct sale, so where you don't need all of that extra expense and complexity.
Well, see, that's the other thing. It's like, okay, that you have to like you say, if I was going to go with, look at the extra work you have to do with creamed honey. If you have a mix, you have to buy a $250 KitchenAid mixer, or if down the road, if it got to be popular, I would have to buy a $2,000 creamer. And it's like, do I want to go and expand, more work?
Well, there's the flip side of that, is if your creamed honey really takes off and you have a whole market to yourself, like here, nobody else does it that I'm aware of.
Mm-hmm.
So if I've got the whole market, then do I even want to have any regular honey? I would just cream it all and make twice as much money on it, right? That would be the way to go. So
exactly. And my situation is a little different because my creamed honey and liquid honey are the same price. Not everybody does that, but I do. And that's chiefly because you know why I cream my honey? Do you know who I cream my honey for? Well, this guy right here. This is the guy I cream my honey for, because I find it easier to handle. I find it easier to store, and all of that stuff. Liquid honey, it's always wanting to granulate, right? And so I've got to deal with that the whole time. Creamed honey, that's easy. Just don't get it hot. And
right.
Well, Bob's your uncle, as they say. So if you're charging a premium for creamed honey, I can't really do that here because it's a pretty common thing. You have liquid honey, you have creamed honey. There's more creamed honey here than there is liquid honey, to be honest. So it's not a special thing. It's not a new thing like it is in some areas, right?
But you do get a premium, Brad, don't you, for your flavored honey?
I don't flavor honey.
Oh, okay.
But you can. Yes, you can. So not all flavored honey is creamed. I would say most of it is, but not all of it. But you can then get it creamed. I'm just talking just honey. If you want to make value-added products, I mean, sky's the limit, right? You come up with a product that my guy that does my creaming, he made a Haskap berry honey. oh man, that stuff is something else. So you come up with recipes like that, and you can just take the world by storm. Um, my comments are kind of limited to just honey and liquid honey or creamed honey. So I run into that all the time. In the first, I don't know, 3-4 years of my business, one of the fun things I found was going and making cold calls to stores because it was scary. Um, Trying new things, trying to buy some ads in a local, newspaper or something. Try different things to get my honey marketed and whatnot. Well, after about 3 or 4 years of that, I had to tell myself, okay, you got to stop that because all of the honey was selling out by the end of the year. And it's kind of like, don't you get more stores online because you're going to run out of honey then. What you got there?
Honey
Looks like
butter.
hummus.
No, honey butter.
Honey butter. Oh, honey butter is really nice. I love
Now,
honey
does it
butter.
taste like butter or?
It tastes like honey and butter.
And butter. When I make mine, I don't know about you, James. I as I recall, I think I go 1-to-1 honey and butter.
I go 1-to-1 honey and butter and a little bit of powdered icing sugar. So for every pound of butter and pound of honey, I put in 2 teaspoons of powdered sugar.
That's right. That is part of the recipe. I think my recipe was 1-to-1-to-1. And then I can take that to a next level and add cinnamon to that. So cinnamon honey butter. Oh, that's good.
I do that as well. Yep. We did that the last time around.
So the recipes for all this stuff, I know Brian's got his flavors, and you're talking about these. Is this something common knowledge amongst? Is there a book with all that stuff written in there, or is that
it's
all
called
just
trial and error?
Yeah.
Trial and error.
It's like make something that tastes good to you, and chances are it tastes good to someone else.
You know something else we found.
And when you're what?
So we did a batch last week with I guess it was clover and alfalfa honey, and this batch we creamed was canola honey, and it tastes very different.
Sure.
So anyway, that's just
one of the things I like to do, James.
To sell honey, and that's one thing I went through, which was really interesting. To say, okay, hold back. Don't go do that no more.
What'd you do, Brian?
Sorry, Brian.
When people want to learn about creamed honey, when I offer creamed honey, or they say creamed honey, what's that? I always have them taste the liquid honey as I'm describing the process, and then the creamed honey, because I talk to them about how it's the exact same honey, but that change in texture changes the flavor profile. So it's not just from creaming different types of honeys, it's that process from liquid to creaming that changes the experience too. And that's one of the reasons I like doing all those specialty honeys so much, because I love the educating the public part. I love talking about honey. I love giving them that experience and opening them up to new ideas. I made a comment on Doug's video asking him a little bit about his process. I basically asked, so do you just mix it and jar it immediately and let it set in the jar? And he said that the length of mixing he does depends on the type of honey that he's creaming. And he didn't elaborate more on that, but I thought that was an interesting
He's got a lot of
idea.
canola up there.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing too is, I don't know if you guys saw. So if I'm mixing like my cinnamon honey or my peanut butter honey or my lemon pepper honey, I'll use a dough hook. I don't know if you guys know what a dough hook is.
Yep.
So I'll use a dough hook, right? I'll use a dough hook initially for my my butter honey, but I will go to the batter attachment, because what I find is it smooths it right out. It eliminates any little clump of butter or a clump of honey, and it blends it all together really, really good. So how you do it too is important.
Yeah.
I know that Doug stated that his canola honey. Of course, it will crystallize faster, and he could take 40 gallons is what's in that tank of his, and he can he can make a crystal honey, or I think within 2 days. He said 2 or 3 days.
Yeah, yeah.
Whereas
Canola makes a beautiful creamed honey.
if it's clover honey or whatever, it takes longer.
Yeah, and my guy that does my creaming, he fights my honey because there's no canola at all in it. It's clover and wildflower, and it takes a long time. It takes a lot of seed, and it takes a long time to cream that honey. Canola makes a beautiful cream that creams really quickly, nicely, and the texture of it is unmatched. It's just beautiful.
It almost creams creams without seed. Now, do you want to use a seed because it'll be much the crystal will be much larger, but the seed creams it very, very quickly. We can cream a 5-gallon pail of canola honey up here in about 3 days.
Yeah, I've seen it.
So
cream
I'm
itself.
almost
It's beautiful.
I'm almost picking up that honey that crystallizes quickly also creams very quickly. Is that a fair correlation?
I think if we think back to our high school physics and science classes, we might remember that the slower a crystal grows, the larger it is. If it grows really fast, it's small. So that kind of fits together, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And that's why stirring, because the longer it takes
I never
to
took that
support
class.
crystal, right? Whereas my honey, it takes a long time. So stirring it regularly keeps breaking that crystal down. It'll grow slowly, and then the creamer will start up and it'll break those crystals down, and then it'll grow again, and then it starts up and breaks those crystals down.
Yeah. Hey, Carl.
How you doing, guys?
Hey, Carl.
Good. We'd love to hear about your commercial kitchen plans.
It's not as bad as everybody thinks it is. You know, it's and like Brad said, every area and jurisdiction have different roles in that. I really got involved with the cottage laws when you started bringing it up about 3 weeks ago, Brian, and I started thinking if I'm going to be doing these craft shows and stuff like that, that maybe I should check and see where I'm sitting exactly. And fortunately, when I made up my labels in that, I didn't screw up completely. I left room in that so I could add the 1 or 2 details I have to add in that. And then I checked with adding ingredients to your honeys and stuff like that. Honey in the state of Pennsylvania, even though as big as what Pennsylvania is, they still consider themselves a farming state. So their laws on honey are a little more lax than other areas. They are actually a little more stringent when you go into the canning and stuff like that. So fortunately, we're in the business of honey and not canning and different sauces and stuff like that. And Jim's starting to think about that stand for that phone. And you know, so I started investigating a little bit, and I deal with quite a few Department of Agriculture inspectors on a daily basis. So my local ag guy shot out a call to him, and this past week we had a good conversation. And I was going to do what's called, and I don't know if this is true like where Bob is or other guys are, but they have what's called a shared kitchen agreement in Pennsylvania. So if you have a shared kitchen agreement, being that you're selling and bottling honey, if you're selling it out of your own house or farm, perfectly legal. You really don't even need a license. You could pretty much do it by the seat of your pants. It's not a problem. Nobody's going to come inspecting or anything else. If you're going to go to a fair or a market, then you have to have a kitchen of some sorts that's sanitized and properly thing. If you could do a couple things, you could do a shared kitchen. You can go to somewhere like a fire hall that's properly inspected in that and have them sign off and use their kitchen. Or in Pennsylvania, you could actually use your own home kitchen, but you must not have any pets whatsoever in the household. And you'll have to go through an inspection. And if you're out in the country or something and you're on well water, you have to have it inspected, which I am, which I'll have to have it inspected. It's no big deal. You know, but I'm actually going for the full license because I have places that want to wholesale my honey, and I have quite a few customers that have markets, and they're willing to sell it to me for little to no cost. So if I do that, then I have to go for the wholesale license along with the retail license, and it's better for me. I have access to a shared kitchen literally 100 yards from where I'm sitting if I wanted to do it. But after talking to the inspector, he said, if you're going to do wholesale and retail, he says it's better if you have your own facility. So fortunately, the whole other side of my downstairs is set up for it already.
Would I have to claim my unicorn?
I think you would have to, but the thing is, does it poop and pee? If it does, it might be considered an animal.
It wouldn't poop me a creamer.
No good then. So there's lots of ins and outs with it. Like all I really have to have is a 3-bowl sink. It has to have open drains and stuff like that are sanitary drains, as they call them. And you have to have a dedicated hand sink. And you have to have your own access in and out besides the house access. And as long as you have what they call a mop sink area, or an area that you can spill your mop water for doing your floors and that, I do have floor drains already in my house and everything set up for it. So I'm pretty much set up with it. I just need to do a little hookup and finalize some details, and I should have no problem from what I understand. So I'm filling out the paperwork right now, and I could probably have it by the end of the year if I pushed it, but there's no reason to really push it. So,
but you'll be set for 2024.
Yeah, and I think my licenses total will be less than $100, believe it or not.
Wow,
so
that's crazy.
And I think Jim brought it up about having the national testing for like your chefs and that have to have their sanitation license. In the state of Pennsylvania with honey, you do not have to have that license. Now, I might take, because I'm actually in the sanitation area myself and I've never been required to have it. I've taken a lot of courses on it. I might actually just step up and go and take the damn test and get it over it once and for all. All I have to do is get the book and breeze through it. I've studied most of it anyway. So for the $210 in Pennsylvania, I think the license is good for 5 years. And I know that if I get the book, the study book, that probably I read through it on the weekend here and there. Probably in a couple of weeks, I can probably go take the test without an issue. So it's just all procedures. So
cool, Carl.
But we've while we were talking, we've made up 70 containers.
Yeah, so that's nice.
We have to go deliver it now. So I will sign off here, but we'll probably just continue to listen on. But other than that, if I don't talk to everybody, have a great Thanksgiving. And like I say, I'll keep listening in.
Thanks, James. Good to see you.
You too, James.
Happy Thursday, James.
Yeah, for you and me, Brad, it's just another day.
All right. Yeah, so every state is so different, right? Just like you guys have, every province is different on everything. So it's something that probably, if I ever do open up a facility at any time, that might be something that I look forward to trying to do. But to plumb in, it really wouldn't be hard to plumb it in, I guess, to do it. It's just, but I do have pets, right? So that's another issue.
Yeah, but every state's different too, so you don't know. So I mean, like I said, Brian brought this up, the cottage laws, about 3 weeks ago. I think it was when the conversation started with the cottage laws, and I started really looking into it, and I was like, you know what? If I'm going to start, I did a craft show and I did a couple little things at a winery, and we're going to be doing, if our production goes up by 25% next year, we're not going to sell it so fast enough. So we're going to do a couple more shows. So why not do it and be legal and do it right?
I love what you did, and that was exactly my point. Know your laws so you can figure out what you're going to do. You looked at all the laws in your situation that guided your growth for your business. That gave you ideas of how you were going to grow because you were exposed to that information, right?
Yeah.
I love that. That's what I want to help out with on here, is empowering people to be successful. I don't want to hand stuff over to people, but I want to give you the tools so you can go and run with them and do it. So I think that's awesome, Carl. I've been really impressed with everything that you've been doing.
I've had no problem.
You've got
with
plans for the future.
Yeah, and it's a work in progress, and and a lot of people are saying, "Oh, you got to have a commercial kitchen." Well, do you really have to? I mean, if you're putting a 6-burner range in, well, then you might have to have a hood that costs $10,000, $15,000. If you're putting on all this refrigeration or something, but we don't really need refrigeration. We don't need a hood. We don't need a cook line. You don't need an Ansel system. What do you really need? You need a 3-bowl sink. Go on Facebook Marketplace. You could buy a good one for $300. I mean, and that's almost any state in every state, because I've been at classes for sanitation in Wisconsin, Minnesota, Florida. I've been to classes a lot of places, and the laws all pretty much carry over state to state when it comes to sanitizing. You have a good 3-bowl sink, wash, rinse, sanitize with a proper sanitizer, a proper manual pot and pan. You have hot water. I mean, if you have a hot water heater, you got hot water. If you're washing a 3-bowl sink, you only have to have 100-degree water to wash with, 110-degree water to wash with, and the final rinse, if you use a quaternary sanitizer, you only need 70-degree water. So it's not a real hard process. I mean, a lot of people are scared about it. Take your time and, open up your agricultural laws or whatever it is in each state, and you might find it's not as bad as what you think it is. So...
And you might find it is, and that might direct your direction in your business too. But
that's what Brad said. Every area, every territory, every just like down here, where every state is different in that. I know New York, Pennsylvania, and all the way down to Maryland, I believe where Charlie is. I think the laws are very, very similar now. With the cottage laws, they might change a little bit, but when it comes to food sanitation and that, I deal with a lot of companies that go up and down the East Coast, setting up kitchens and that, and it's pretty much the same old story. 3-bowl sink, commercial dishwasher, or whatever you're using, those are the mainstays for sanitizing. And if we're not really heating, so like I said, we don't need those big expensive cook lines. You put a hood in, you're talking $1,800 a foot on average for a hood now. So
Carl, do you have the option there to rent? Here we have facilities that have registered commercial kitchens that makers can go into, rent the commercial kitchen, prepare their products, and then leave, kind of thing. So you have that option there.
Yes, that's what I said.
Churches, that kind of thing.
Yep, it's called a shared kitchen agreement in the state of Pennsylvania. That's what you're
meaning, yeah.
Yeah, it's a shared kitchen agreement, and I actually had it filled out 2 weeks ago, and I was going to go that route because my brother has a catering business right next door that has a full commercial kitchen in it that's fully certified in that. And I was going to go that route, but I talked to the Department of Ag inspector for our area, and then we started talking about wholesaling and retailing, and he says, you're going a step further. He says, you might want to just do it on your own terms, because then in my processing area is going to be my honey extractor, my creaming machines. I'm going to have the 3-bowl sink. I'm going to have everything set up so it's all in one facility. And as it goes, if you're going to be wholesaling, then you're getting into a whole nother insurance aspect that I'm working on also. So, I'm playing with all those numbers and games to get it to where you want to keep it profitable. So, pay for what we're doing at least,
We had friends that chose to go the retail route one year, and they did the whole thing in a separate commercial kitchen, and they hated it. They had to bring all of their equipment to that kitchen to do it. They had to do it in a particular time frame, so they had to invite friends over and hustle just to get through all their honey in the time frame they had. And the kicker that I heard was like, they go, our kitchen at home was cleaner than that kitchen. So they decided to kind of adjust and kind of stay doing the same thing we're doing for now. But,
I'm
for
working
them, they
on
tried it out. And that one was thousands of dollars, Carl. So when I heard your price tag, I was like, well, that's a no-brainer. Of course you're going to want to do that.
Yeah. And I put in commercial kitchens for dishwashing. So I walked out in front of my building and grabbed the 3-bowl sink. I walked in front of my
Nice.
building and I grabbed a hand saying, so for me, it's not a big deal, but not everybody has that option, but
yeah, it
but
sounds like
seriously,
an
you can
easy
buy it
pivot for
reasonably.
you.
Yeah.
They're not hard to find.
No.
They're not hard to find. I got a big triple sink in my honey house, and it was not hard to find at all. I mean, you got to pay
Yeah.
for it, but not hard to find.
Yeah. I mean, I've been actually washing, and because they talk about the honey and going into your septic system and that, because I'm out in the country, and that. So I've literally been just washing out my honey creaming machine and that. And you know what? If you have 140-degree water, it only takes a couple of gallons to really clean a good honey creaming machine or a bottling tank or something. I've been just throwing it outside, So, hey, whatever's out there, that there's a little bit of sugar in that, the bees are going to find it anyway. So I'm not too worried about it. So
that's how I cleaned out my extractor. I just opened up my honey house, opened up the extractor, walked away. Came back 2 days later, clean. I didn't even pull it out.
And when the weather's nice, Brian, me and the wife will take our tank and that on capping tank and everything else. We'll just, to us, we grab a side, we walk upstairs about the 6 steps, take it out in the front yard, out in front of the house, because we never go out front anyway. Next day, it's clean, and the same thing with the extractor and that. The weather sucks right now, so we're not going to do it right now. But any other time, if the weather's nice, we'll just carry it out there and then bring it back down, rinse it out, and wipe it down, and make sure you're good and sanitized and good to go for the next time. So,
well, guys, it is 5 after 11 here, and probably going to take this opportunity to end the live stream portion of this gathering. And, hopefully everybody has a good Thanksgiving and a happy Thursday to Brad. And, and appreciate everybody, watching and thumbs upping and hanging out with us tonight. And we'll see you guys on the next stream. So probably Charlie's on Friday night. You still on Friday, Charlie?
Yep.
All right. And who knows what happens Thanksgiving night? We might all be in turkey coma. So
just put a live on it all.
Yeah, we're all asleep. So.
No, just put a live on and turn it to the football game.
All right, guys. Well, everybody have a good holiday, and we'll see you on the next stream.
Happy Thanksgiving.
All right, everybody. Happy
Good night.
Thanksgiving to you.